Okay, here we go guys, question 4. This is a graph of a firework rocket showing its height at different times. On the vertical axis here we've got height, the horizontal axis here we've got time in seconds. And we can see that the rocket goes up into the air until it gets to its maximum height and then it falls back down to the ground. We're asked in question 1, or the first part here, estimate from the graph for how many seconds the rocket is more than 20 metres above the ground. Okay, I'm just going to enlarge the graph here a little bit. In order to do this, we need to actually add some lines onto the graph. And because we're asked for more when the rocket was more than 20 metres, we need to actually find 20 metres and we need to put a horizontal line in across here. Make sure that you use your ruler for this. I'm going to have to draw it freehand, so here we go. Right the way across. So the rocket was more than 20 metres above ground for all of this amount of time. So what we now need to do is draw in some vertical lines down from here and down from here. So let's draw those in. Remember, you're going to use your ruler when you do this. Okay, so there's my first one, and here's my second one. Okay, so we've got our points in there. So what we need to do now is we just need to look at this difference in time here in order to answer the question. So just make that a little bit smaller again. So we've got the upper measurement here, which looks, if we first look at it, possibly about 7.5, but let's check the scale perfectly so that we know what we're doing. We see carefully here, we can see that we go from 7 to 7.5 here to 8. So where our marker is, it's approximately 7.25. So we're going to say 7.25 seconds. And from that we're going to subtract this mark in here, which is about 1.25 seconds. And so for my answer I have 6 seconds. Now remember that there will be a range of answers that's acceptable. You need to make sure that you've drawn your lines accurately and that you've actually used your ruler and shown the examiner what you've done in order to make sure that you get within those range and get the answers correct. Okay, let's go back to the next part of the question. Estimate from the graph how many metres the rocket falls in the last second of its flight. So we can see here that it hits the ground at about 8.5 seconds. So we need to go back to 7.5 seconds. So I'm just going to enlarge the graph again so we can try and find our measurements here. Remember that you're going to use your ruler to draw this. Here we go. So we're going to go at 7.5 seconds, which is here, and we're going to come across to this axis and we're going to measure it. Well, that looks like that on the scale it's halfway between 15 and 20, so it was actually at 17.5 metres above ground at 7.5 seconds, and then it fell to the ground. So the final answer to our question is 17.5 metres.